Hello there. So here's another little video, this time on adjectives and the adjective group. And as usual, I would like you to watch the video before you read the pages assigned to you in the study plan. First, something about the learning objectives. You should gain an overall and initial understanding of what constitutes the adjective group. Then you should gain an overview of why, how and when we use adjectives. And finally, you should learn new linguistic terms connected to adjectives and the adjective group. First of all, why do we use adjectives? Well, we use adjectives to express features or qualities of nouns and pronouns. A wonderful girl. We also use adjectives to create precise and vivid descriptions of nouns and pronouns when we write different kinds of texts. Firstly, I'm going to dwell on two categories of adjectives, what we call descriptive adjectives and classifying adjectives. Descriptive adjectives are adjectives that describe people, things, places, etc. And those kind of adjectives are usually gradable. So they can be compared in the comparative, nicer, and the superlative, nicest. And they can be modified by an adverb, a very nice person. The other category are what we call classifying adjectives. They refer to a certain category, a German boy or organic shampoo. They are usually not gradable and they cannot be compared or pre-modified. Here we have a simple adjective group. Students are young. First we find the verbal, which is are. It's made up by a verb group, a simple verb group with a head that is made up by the main verb. There's a subject made up by a noun group. Also this word group is a simple one with a head consisting of a noun. And then we have the subject complement. Since are is a form of to be, which is a linking verb, it takes subject complement, and in this case the subject complement is an adjective group. Also this word group is a simple group with just a head consisting of an adjective. And now to a more complex adjective group. The sentence is, the girl is so happy that her father arrived in time. First we find the verbal, which is. It's made up by a verb group, a simple verb group with a head, which is made up by the main verb. Then we have the subject, the girl, and the subject is made up by a noun group with a head, which is a noun, and a determiner, which is an article. Then we have a subject complement, and again the subject complement has been made up by an adjective group. This time it's just a very long adjective group. And this adjective group consists of a head, which is happy, that's the most important word, and how we determine that this is an adjective group consists of an adjective. Then we have a pre-modifier, so, which in this case is an adverb. Then we have, in this sentence we have what we call a very long post-modifier, and that is that her father arrived in time. This post-modifier consists of what we would call a post-modifying relative finite subclause. It's finite since we have a subject, her father arrived, and you can see that the verb shows tense. If we look at the finite subclause, we'll see there's a verbal, arrived, consisting of a verb group, a simple verb group with a head consisting of a main verb. And we have a subordinating conjunction, and we have a subject consisting of a noun group with a head, father, which is a noun, and a determiner, her, which in this case is a pronoun. Then we have a circumstantial, which in this case is a prepositional group consisting of a preposition, and a prepositional complement made up by a noun group, and since it's a simple group, we're only dealing with a head which is made up by a noun. So this was a more complex adjective group where the post modifier is a whole subclause. And now to the adjective group and what the adjective group contains. First, it contains a head, and the head in an adjective group is always an adjective. Then adjective groups, in adjective groups we can see sometimes pre-modifiers, which are typically degree adverbs, and we can also see post modifiers. In the example just a bit earlier, we saw a post modifier that was a finite subclause. She was so happy that her father arrived in time. We can also have post modifiers consisting of non-finite subclauses. She is lucky to be alive. And finally, we can have a prepositional group as a post modifier. He is taller than me, or she is too happy for a teacher. If you want to see more about what kind of pre-modifiers and post-modifiers we can have in adjective groups, you can look in Brunda and Brian on page 307. And when do we use adjective groups? We use adjective groups as pre-modifiers in noun group. Very sweet. Sweet is the adjective that modifies the noun, and very is a pre-modifier in the adjective group very sweet. Because it's used in front of, it's used as a pre-modifier, we say it's used attributively. We can also have adjective groups as subject complement after linking verbs. The girl looks perfectly happy. The adjective group is perfectly happy. Happy is the head, perfectly is the pre-modifier. Since it's used as a complement, we say it's used predicatively. We can also use adjective groups as object complement. They made him unhappy. We can use them as post modifiers in noun groups. They didn't see anything strange. As a head in the noun group, with restrictions though, we are moving into the unexpected. When we compare adjective, this is what we call, when we inflect adjective, we call it comparison. And the main rules of comparison of adjectives are, we have the base form, what we call the positive, we have the comparative, and we have the superlative. The regular way of doing it, the two regular ways of comparing adjectives are by adding er or est, or by adding more or most in front of the adjective. So we could have wild, wilder, wildest, beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. For more details on comparison of adjectives, for instance, there are some spelling rules and there are some rules about how many syllables there has to be in a word for you to be able to use the er, est way of compare adjectives. You can find much more in David Crystal, pages 172 to 172 to 173, and in Brunda and Brian, pages 314 to 319. Finally, I'm going to say a little bit about what we call the false comparative. This is a specific problem for Danes. In Danish we would say en yngre mand, en bedre middag, meaning that he's quite young or it's a quite good dinner. But since it's not compared with anything, we refer to it as the false comparative. This is not possible in English. You can't say a better dinner. You would be asked better than what? So in English you would say a very good dinner or a wonderful dinner or a great dinner. So pay attention to false comparatives. So that was all for this time, and as usual, the two books I used were Brunda and Brian as well as David Crystal. And now you may start reading the assigned pages in your grammar books. And enjoy!